Hello and welcome to Star Wars Connection. My name is Lee and I'm here with Denise. Hello, Denise.
Hello, everyone.
So today we're going to be talking about the Star Wars reel that was shared at Disney's D23 Expo. And it's pretty exciting. We want to kind of go through the footage with you and share our impressions, discuss a little bit and hear what you have to say about it as well. So a little bit of a background, the D23 is the official Disney club. It's called 23 because 1923 is the year that the company was founded. And they have this expo. And it just happened in Anaheim, California. And there was a lot of speculation leading up to the expo, whether they were going to release a trailer or not for The Last Jedi. We did not get a trailer, but we got a featurette. It's basically a reel of behind the scenes stuff, cast talking, and also some shots from the movie. And there's a lot of information there. Let's talk a little bit about our impressions. What do you think, Denise?
First of all, I thought it was just brilliant to release this reel because it's a little early. It's very early to be releasing a trailer, you know? You don't want to oversaturate the market with Star Wars stuff. But for the Star Wars fans who have been waiting, this is great and we can piece things together. For us, it's super meaningful. Well, at the same time, for the general audience, it's not going to saturate them and it's not going to give spoilers. And so it's just perfect. I mean, whoever came up with that idea was brilliant. What do you think? Are you happy now?
I'm super happy. I have to tell you, I watched it like 10 times, and the first few times I watched it, I was just so overwhelmed. I'm starting to get concerned about how I'm going to be in the theater when the actual movie comes out. I think I'm going to have to watch it 3 or 4 times before I can absorb anything, because whenever something comes out, my mind just has a meltdown. I loved it. I really was surprised that they went that route, but like you said, it's perfect because you actually get a little bit of everything. So you get to hear from the cast what they think about what's going on, and that tells you a lot. Then you actually get to see these scenes that are packed with clues that you can kind of break down and analyze. Just seeing how gorgeous everything looks is just amazing. I'm really excited for what Rian Johnson has done, and the reel only enhanced that feeling for me. It was brilliant.
Yeah, for me too. Everything looked great, just amazing.
Let's talk a little bit about the footage itself, and then we can talk about what happened at D23 at the expo. So starting off, everybody who's listening has probably seen the reel. If you haven't, this is your chance to go do it and then come back so that we can discuss it. We're gonna go through the key scenes. We open up with a kind of melancholy shot of Chewie camping out beside the Millennium Falcon, which looks gorgeous. So that to me says Chewie's been at Ahch-To, probably with R2-D2 while Rey is training. So I'm wondering now if they're gonna take off together when they leave. Next key shot is Luke accepting the saber from Rey.
Finally! But then the question is he then gonna give it back or not? Because then later Rey has some scenes that she seems to be with her staff. But we saw in the trailer her with the lightsaber, so it's a little confusing.
Yeah. I'm thinking that Luke is gonna keep the lightsaber while she trains, and she's gonna do her forms with a spear and a lot of meditation, and then when she's ready, he's gonna give her back the saber. That's my guess.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
But yeah, you know what I loved about, and these are the little details that we can geek out about. I love to see like the little motion capture tape on Mark Hamill's hand, because you know that that's his engineered hand, so they're gonna add it in later. Yeah. So that's just awesome. I just love that. Next thing that we see is actually Kylo Ren in the wings, kind of waiting to come into a room, and he's wearing his mask, and his outfit already looks a little different. There's something samurai-like about the way that his cloak is hanging off him, something very martial. So I really like that shot.
Yeah, I think, you know, it seems that he's gonna talk to Snoke or finally see Snoke, and I don't think it's gonna be a nice meeting. Nope. I don't know, there's something strange is gonna happen there.
It looks very tense, right? I don't know if you guys are aware, but we actually got to see a picture of this new pinball Star Wars themed machine that's going to be sold at Walmart, and it has a picture or a drawing of Kylo kneeling in the stance that knights take when they're swearing fealty or allegiance to an overlord. So I'm wondering now if this is the scene where Kylo asks Snoke to forgive him and then kneels and swears alliance to him. That would be cool if that were connected there.
It'd be cool if it's in the movie, because it's similar to when Anakin does the
Exactly.
Everybody hates the prequels, but it's
not everybody. A lot of us love it. It's just that I think the haters are louder. The next thing that we see is, we don't really know what it is. We're just speculating, but there's a room that's all red, and it looks like there are guards. They kind of look like Palpatine's guards, by the way, with the red. Yeah. So that's interesting how that came to be inherited by Snoke, or if it's a different thing. But anyway, it's a royal guard sort of thing for Snoke. And red is a very dominant color in this movie. For me, also gray. I've noticed a lot of gray, but we'll talk a little bit more about what that can mean later. Going down, we see Phasma, and she looks just dazzling, shiny, and gorgeous in her armor. It's really been upgraded.
Yeah.
And she's just walking around. There's a lot more Phasma in this reel, right? And overall, which a lot of us are happy about. Phasma walking along with the stormtroopers, and there's fire. We've seen a shot of that before. Unclear what that is, but we can speculate that it's the First Order is whooping the Resistance. At least in the early stages of the film, probably. We're gonna see the Resistance decimated, or appearing to be, because the First Order is coming in strong.
Seems that they're gonna have like a starfighter that's Holdo's, right? Because of the scenes that we have there. And then if it's obliterated, they're gonna have to each go to one place, you know? It's gonna be, that's what I'm expecting.
I agree with you. And speaking of Holdo, we see a shot of Carrie Fisher and Laura Dern in costume, and they seem to be greeting each other. And actually, Holdo looks more toned down than, she doesn't look as...
Hunger Games!
Hunger Gamey, yeah. She doesn't look as Hunger Gamey as she did before. I actually like her look in that shot. But going back, and we see all these shots of Carrie Fisher. There's a lot of her also in the reel, and we see her talking to Rian Johnson. We see her in, we see Leia in kind of a war room with some other members of the Resistance. And then there's like a cool weapon that is going to be for the stormtroopers. It looks like it would do a lot of damage. It's got like hooks on it, so interesting. Then of course we have the creatures. We had already talked about the space horse, right?
Yeah.
That Finn and Kelly Marie Tran's character are going to be riding later on. So I think that scene is from Canto Bight.
I really like, I mean, that Rian Johnson is going there because, you know, it's going to be a movie that I think is going to be dark, and to put some cute and funny creatures, you know, cute creatures, but it is, you know, Star Trek-y, it is fantasy. I think it's a little bit daring even to do that, you know. Yeah, I'll put some cool creatures.
I agree with you. For me, one of the dominant themes here is that there's a lot of melancholy almost in a lot of the shots. For me, that Chewie alone by the fire shot like just reminded me that Han's gone. Leia looks so sad. Luke's sad. Kylo looks, you know, like he's orphaned and lost. And so to have that kind of fantasy element and that wonder that we get from Star Wars when the creatures are done right, because I personally hate the Ewoks and I hate Jar Jar. So when you have creatures that are weird but cool, it just adds another layer to things, and I think that Ryan's going about it in a very cool way. I personally am not a fan of the new porgs that look kind of like ugly penguins, but I think everybody seems to love them, so good.
Yeah, I just admire him for putting these cute creatures in the movie, you know. I hope it's going to work out well, but I think, you know, most people would shy away from that because it's too kiddie or too, you know, it's not serious. And I love it that it seems to be a very beautiful movie, very deep, very dark, and there's some cute creatures. So
very imaginative. I like the white wolf, like the puffy wolf.
Yes.
And here is something exciting for everybody who's wanting a water rescue with Kylo and Rey. We see Rey diving into a pool on set, and of course that's probably going to be the water in Ahch-To. So the question is, does she fall in? Does she get thrown in? Or does she actually dive in? She looks like she's diving, but we don't know if that's how they were doing the stunt. And then they'll, you know, rearrange that to look like she fell in or what. But there's like a crew filming beneath the water, and it looks like there's going to be some water action. We also see Rian Johnson actually in the water. We had seen that shot before.
I think there is also, without getting into spoilers, I've been avoiding spoilers, by the way, but there's the talk about the monster, sea monster, whatever. But regardless, what I find is most interesting is that we're actually going to get underwater scenes. So something is happening under the water, and I think it's going to be a time for change, because water going underwater, it symbolizes, you know, baptism and change, and also water, it's about feelings. So to have her underwater is interesting, and if by any chance Kylo goes underwater as well, that would be very symbolic and interesting, but I'm not sure about that though.
Well, hopefully he will, but for sure Rey does, and you're right. A baptism, a renewal, cleansing, and you go in one way, you come out another. We know she has a change in her outfit. From what we've seen from the previous images that have been released, she has her usual kind of 3-bun hairstyle. when she arrives in Ahch-To, and then at some point the hair is loose. So it would be interesting if that happens after she emerges from the water. So,
it can't be only cleansing, you know, something else is going on there because she's emerging dark, you know. So maybe her experience with Luke, something is happening about that.
The other thing is, pretty cool quote from Pablo Hidalgo, where he said on Twitter, he answered a question fan, do lightsabers work underwater? And the answer is yes. So interesting what will happen there.
But isn't there one quote by Rian Johnson that he says, ask Pablo Hidalgo? So because I remember that. And if there is this quote, it means that in this movie, there won't be any underwater lightsaber. They're not going to use it. But I know that in the Clone Wars, they have lightsabers underwater.
I didn't think of it that way. We'll see. What I thought it meant that Ryan didn't want to be the one to answer the question.
Oh,
so
I see.
It could be what you say, but it could
even
be
know about it.
Just said ask Pablo Hidalgo, and then Pablo said yes. So it could be that there's no underwater lightsaber action, or it could be that Ryan didn't want to answer and it was just
absolutely
being dodgy.
Yeah, and especially if there is some kind of monster, I'm assuming she'll need a weapon.
Unless Kylo, saves her, but
his bare hands, he kills the monster. Well, I think she can kill the monster herself, but anyway.
But not if she's drowning because she doesn't know how to swim.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna bet she knows how to swim because she knows everything. She's gonna be awesome.
How can she know how to swim? I would just like shake my fist at the screen if she turned out to be like an Olympic swimmer or something, and she's only been in a desert planet. Come on.
No. She knows how to swim, and she's gonna be the best swimmer anyone has ever seen because that's just right.
Oh my god. Phelps better watch out because Rey is going to be better than him. It's funny we're joking about it, but we're really, and we've talked about it outside of the podcast discussion too, we really just want to see some character development for Rey. We want to see her not be perfect at everything, and I think this water thing is a great opportunity for that to be the case.
Yeah.
Moving on, so we see the famous Canto Bight Casino. We see some creatures there that are pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I like it. I was just a little disappointed with the building itself, I don't know, it looks like a tent, or I don't know, I wasn't very, I don't know, it's so big and spacious. I guess I wanted, for my sense of nostalgia, I wanted something with a lower ceiling, kind of what we get with the cantina in I don't know. Yeah, but
maybe they will move into another room.
Maybe.
We only saw a few seconds, but you're right. It is a very different feel.
Yeah.
Next, we see some pilot stuff. So we see Poe Dameron, and then we see Chewie, and he doesn't appear to be inside of the Millennium Falcon. Actually, it looks like a different ship.
It means a lot. It means actually he leaves Ahch-To, he goes somewhere that has others, it means a lot actually in terms
That's one of those simple shots that tells you a lot without you even realizing it. Then there's Kylo Ren, and his scar looks gorgeous. I mean, it's there, it's undeniably there, but it's just really clean and it looks great. And he's just kind of hanging around in a lot of the scenes that we see him. He's reacting, looking sad and kind of lost, really, except for one shot of Adam Driver training with his lightsaber, and then there's men with sticks attacking him with staffs. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I think that's important. We'll file that for later.
The fact that he's shown as all his shots in this reel, he's, he seems almost like he's thinking, he's considering, or he's questioning, or he's confused, or he's sad. He's never acting, because even in the teaser trailer he has a lightsaber, so he's more, he's doing something, he's active. Right. But here, all his shots, the real shots, he's just passive, which is interesting.
Yes, and it is interesting that he doesn't look menacing at all. And
No.
There isn't a single shot in this reel where he looks menacing. Not even where he's wearing the mask. He's kind of just waiting. He looks like he's waiting to be called in. So I think that it's very interesting how they are showing a side of him that if you look at him, you don't think this is the villain in the movie. Next we have Luke, and he looks like he's got his purse, he's got his bag, he's ready to take off. So I think Luke's gonna leave Ahch-To as well.
So he's not gonna be only pissed off on the rock,
No, he's going somewhere.
Everywhere.
So I don't know if you, Denise, want to hear something spoilery right now.
I can hear.
Cover your ears, okay? So there's speculation about, does Luke actually get his X-wing from the water? Is he gonna have it rise out of the sea, and is he going to take off in it? And there's something about an image in the pinball machine that looks like there's an X-wing under the water. So the question of if Chewie and Rey leave together, how does Luke leave? Is he going to hitch a ride with Kylo, or does he have his own ship parked? Actually, a great throwback of him doing what Yoda did in Dagobah, getting that ship out of the water. That'd be cool.
Of course.
Next, we have a lot of Finn, actually. And interesting because it happened so quickly, a lot of us may have missed it. But there's a scene of Finn in his coma, and he's wearing like really cute flip-flops.
It's so funny. But I think that's the part when he's waking up, which is interesting because that's, you know, like I said with Rey, she goes underwater. For that, you know, waking up, there's this awakening sense, the, you know, spiritual awakening and change. And he comes out changed, right? I mean, from the little we see.
I think it's very, very cool imagery. And I would love to see if we get a shot of Kylo in the Bacta tank as well. It's kind of a little bit of a callback to what they did with The Force Awakens, where we saw the three of them, Kylo, Finn, and Rey, unmasking in different orders, and then, you know, that told us something. So here, if they all emerge from being underwater or under a coma in some way, that would also be very meaningful. Next, I actually love the shot of, and I think it's Poe, but I can't be sure, somebody does a floor slide. I love action shots like that, and it looks like it's in Crate, so we're gonna have lots of action there. And then we have Benicio del Toro's character, DJ. I actually didn't notice this by looking at the reel, but I read about it online. Apparently, he's wearing a funny looking hat. I don't like that hat. It looks like a bellhop hat to me, but it's supposed to be a cool looking hat. And the hat had been spoiled by making Star Wars. So they had talked about his outfit kind of being a little bit reminiscent of Anakin's cloak. And his curious hat, and that the fact that even though he looks kind of grimy and dodgy, not sophisticated, but the ship that he pilots is like super sleek, super elegant, and expensive looking inside. So that tells you that maybe he's won a lot of money in the casino or doing illegal activities. He's got like state-of-the-art equipment, and it would be curious how that plays into things. Guessing it's that he's gonna, for a price, be willing to assist Leia and her crew.
Yeah, that's a pretty good guess, I think.
And then there's a girl. She's in
it's Paige.
Like piloting. It's Paige. You know, it looks like she's fated to kind of be killed off. I'm sorry to say it, and hopefully that won't happen too soon. But some people are speculating that that's what's going to drive Rose to take on a more active role and join Finn.
Not cliche at all, right?
No.
I thought, you know what I thought when she was introduced? I thought she was gonna be Poe's love interest, so that Finn and Poe can still be buddies. But I was a little sad because I wanted Poe not to have a love interest, so, you know, we can speculate that he, you know, so that he could still be gay, you know, in people's mind. They could make him gay without outright stating it. And anyways, but yeah,
that's a good idea. Like he could just be open ended, so he can be whatever you want him to be. You may get your wish.
Yeah, you know? But Paige, I mean, I think that actress is so beautiful. I like her, and well, I don't know. I really hope they're not going for this. Oh, she's cute, and then I just find it's a little cliche. But it could be that she dies, but maybe in a different way, you know, in a different way that affects the plot. Okay.
So next we have that shot of Adam Driver training, and he looks ripped. Like, I hope that there's gonna be a shirtless scene. I'm sorry, I do, because it's kind of tradition. You know, we had Anakin, we need to see it, and his arms look amazing, so it would be a waste if they don't include it. But he looks really intense when he's doing his practicing, so there's definitely gonna be some intense lightsaber action. Next we see there's a car, and it looks like it's like, I don't really know what it is, but it's like some vehicle.
Those vehicles I like because I think they got a little bit of inspiration from the prequel. The prequel again, the vehicles. So
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's sleek looking.
Yeah, in fact, I find that this movie seems to be taken a lot from the prequel, because the prequels wasn't greatly done, but it was interesting to have the politics and stuff, and it seems that we're gonna have some of it there. So it seems that he's incorporating more of the prequel idea, which is very good if it's meant to be a continuity of it. And we have to remember that there is a new generation who grew up with the prequel trilogy. That's Star Wars for them. So I think it's nice to bring in a little bit of that.
Absolutely. I'm so hoping that they do the prequel in the right way, you know? at least some elements of it. Like the politics was super boring, but it's something that should be present. It's not good to have no politics either. So if they did politics right, if they did romance right, you know, if they did technology stuff and the spirituality stuff and they incorporated that seamlessly, which was missing from the prequels, I would be just ecstatic. Because I love the prequels, I do. And it's just like, I love it in spite of all its flaws, but it would be awesome if that could be reinterpreted.
Yeah. There's a shot with a man with kind of red hair, and many people are speculating that it's Hux. I've read in quite a few places, and I think it's not Hux. First, because for me the hair color doesn't really match. And second, because I can't really picture Hux leaving his command post and going anywhere unless he's there in the party and Heck gets caught. But I don't find that Hux is the character that would be in the heart of the action. I mean, it wouldn't really go with the character I saw in The Force Awakens unless, you know, there's some change. But who knows?
Yeah, and a lot of people are actually speculating that Hux is going to bite it early on, that he's not going to be around for too long in the movie. So and that goes more in line with what you're saying as well.
Yeah.
Next, actually, we have a really cool and interesting shot of Daisy Ridley also doing some sparring practice with people who are attacking her, and they have sticks or staffs, just like Adam Driver. Huh. Very interesting. Because we saw Kylo, or we saw the actor fighting or practice fighting with people who look like the same foes. I mean, it looks like the same enemy. So what does that mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Does it mean that while they're on Ahch-To fighting each other, they get attacked by a third party and then they have to fight that off together? And here's what I would love if it were the case. Does it mean that they fight against Snoke's guard together at the end of the movie? That would be amazing.
That's what most people are speculating because of the type of weapons, because those guards have those. So that's a good speculation. Or it could be early on. Early on it would be cool as well. I would like that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it would be cool. The sooner the better, so they can get to, you know, bonding and romancing.
Remember, no, this romance is not going to be, I don't think it's going to be
I know. It's not going to be a central romance, but there can be heavy flirting, okay? So, you know, the other thing, there's very, very interesting shots of Finn. He looks to be behind bars in one, so he's like captured. And then in another, he and Rose are dressed as officers.
I love that shot. I love how intense he looks. I love how John Boyega, he conveys fear, I don't know, tension so well. I remember when I watched The Force Awakens, and, you know, I could feel his, you know, his tension of being there, and I really think it makes him so human, and just seeing him there is like, oh, it's intense, you know, and I really like it. And she looks great too, but I think he's especially good at passing this intensity.
I agree with you. I actually, a little bit off topic, but I saw a TV commercial for his new movie, Detroit, and there's a scene where, you know, he's looking all tough and stuff, but then there's a scene where he just looks vulnerable and kind of thrown off, and I was thinking, he and Adam Driver have this quality where they can unexpectedly convey vulnerability and emotion, and it really kind of connects with you, so you react to it emotionally, and it just makes you root for them, you know. I really like him as an actor, and it's just great to see Rose. She's so cute, but she looks so purposeful and badass in her outfit, so I'm just really looking forward to their scenes. There's a very curious scene of like a pilot falling into this chamber, I guess, and there's like round objects all around, and it's unclear what that represents, but for me it was a little bit reminiscent of Rogue One, so I don't know what that means, but it's just an interesting shot.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah. Then we have that explosion that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Assuming maybe that's when the First Order attacks, or...
Yeah, I think it's early in the movie, and it makes sense that, you know, if the resistance is is all good, you know, with Hodo, that something should happen in the beginning. And, you know, it would be a callback to Empire Strikes Back, because they start in a different place, they have their base, they're all settled, and then boom.
Then there is a cute little shot that you can get distracted by if you don't pay attention. Kind of like a take of Daisy Ridley and John Boyega goofing off on set, and they look adorable, of course, and they're doing a little dance. It's between takes. But notice what they're wearing. Rey's wearing that new outfit and her hair is down, and she's with Finn. So obviously they're going to reunite at some point, and because of the way she's dressed and her hair, it's the later part of the movie.
Yeah. It seems that in the end of the movie, everything's going to come together, you know. Exactly. It seems that it's going to be an amazing third act.
Yep. And then there was a scene of Rey with a hood covering her head, and she's wielding the lightsaber.
Oh,
and
that's such a gorgeous shot.
it's gorgeous because the light plays over her face, and it's a different Rey. Just wow. I'm wondering now if she's facing off against Kylo Ren in that scene, and if that shot of her matches Kylo's shot of his moving the lightsaber to point it from the teaser from before.
It
Do you know
doesn't
what I mean?
seem that it's in the same place though, because she would be in the rain, coming in a different direction.
If it's raining, maybe she can wear a hood.
Maybe
So
it could be. But I love that scene, how it, because wearing a hood, not only you have the idea of Little Red Riding Hood, and also you have the, fantasy. People wear these capes and hoods, and I really like what it conveys, as an image. It's beautiful.
Exactly. I think we covered all the kind of main things, like a quick breakdown of the scenes. Let's circle back and talk about specific things that are important. Let's start with Rey. We've seen her looking empowered. We've seen her doing her action scenes. I love that they showed the filming of her running with the lightsaber, because I love that shot from the teaser. And here we actually get to see them filming that. We see her.
I think we will see character development, because actually in The Force Awakens she never ran towards anything. She ran from things. Really, if you think about it, except for in the little while she faces Kylo, but now she's running towards something. So that's really great. We will see her, going for something and trying to, do something.
Exactly. Something else about her is that, well, everybody's cloaked in red for the new promotional posters, but with her is we've been speculating, about her being in this gray zone during this installment where she's kind of piecing things together and figuring out where she stands and how she feels and who she is, maybe. I'm really interested in the fact that once she does emerge from her transition, her robes are gray. From a costuming perspective, she's soft and feminine and flowy, like some sort of white desert flower, pure and innocent in The Force Awakens. She then goes through this period of darkness, revelation, self-discovery, and then gradually matures into this powerful, confident young woman who no longer is looking at things from a black and white, concrete perspective, but rather somebody who's more nuanced and perhaps more ambiguous. And that comes across in her choice of gray robes. So I think that's pretty cool symbolism. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's just a very nice progression. So that color of ambiguity, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's talk about her as Little Red Riding Hood. That's a theme that we saw in The Force Awakens during her meeting with Kylo Ren in the woods of Takodana. She's running away from the big bad wolf, and we know that there's a lot of interesting symbolism behind the story of Little Red Riding Hood. It's a girl that enters the woods where the big bad wolf is lurking. A common interpretation of that from a psychoanalytical standpoint is that it's about sexual awakening, entering womanhood, that the red cape that she wears symbolizes menarche, which is the first menstruation. And another interpretation is that the story is meant to warn young women about the dangers of giving in to temptation and lust and premarital sex, essentially. The wolf symbolizing the danger of lust lurking in the wilderness of youth type thing. So there's definitely some interesting undertones, sexual undertones, to that imagery of Rey and Kylo as the girl and the wolf in the classic fairy tale. That, I think, is maintained with her as Little Red Riding Hood here, and then we have Kylo Ren, who's the big bad wolf, right? Or he's supposed to be, and he is, but he looks like his claws have been filed down, he looks defanged.
Yeah,
he doesn't really
different.
look powerful here. He looks like he's also doing his own transition. Do you want to talk a little bit about what we saw of Kylo Ren, Denise?
Yeah, he looks, like I said, he's not in action. He's in this real shot. He's static and seems that he's thinking, and he looks vulnerable. What do you think?
I really like the fact that we're seeing so much of him unmasked, and I think that means that he's going to spend a large part of the movie without his mask on. Interesting to note, there's a shot of Kylo's helmet looking very damaged. So I don't know if that's from when it was rescued at the end of The Force Awakens, or if he had a new helmet made and that one got smashed up. We remember seeing that also in the teaser trailer from before. So there's something going on with the helmet. I don't know if it's by choice. I'm hoping, like I said said before that he's the one who's going to smash it. But again, we're going to see a lot of unmasked Kylo with his awesome new scar. There's an interesting shot here where people were speculating. He looks like he's sitting and he's reacting to something, either somebody who comes into the room or somebody says something, and he looks kind of surprised and kind of vulnerable, and people were wondering, is he actually in the war room with Leia? I don't know about that, but it would be cool to think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure though.
I think it would be too soon for that.
I think it would be too soon for that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about Leia now? Because she looks so beautiful, and that shot of, I find it now she looks like, you know, the Skywalker, this sister. She looks magnificent and powerful, which she did not look in The Force Awakens. I'm sorry, I have to say that. And now there is something about her that is more like, I don't know, wizardy, you know, because if you see, and it's just so beautiful.
I think every scene that we've seen with her, she looks just badass. She looks like the general, like her poster. She just looks amazing.
And that last shot where she's standing, she's alone and facing Rey, as if the two of them are gonna be together, and I wonder what Rey's telling her or giving her, and that's really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And whatever it is that Rey is saying to her, it doesn't look like it's good news. I mean, you can see in Leia's face that she looks quite distraught, and you gotta wonder, is it something to do with Kylo or maybe Luke?
And I really I'm hoping more now than ever. I'm thinking that it's likely that she and Luke are going to meet up.
Yeah,
based
I think
on
so
what we
too.
saw.
I hope so too.
I know. So
if I see it, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be
know.
so emotional.
I know. I already did when I saw the Vanity Fair photo of them together. And I think that is a sign, as well as the fact that all the good guys seem to be gathering towards the end of the movie. Yeah. So I think that's a sign that they are going to meet. And it would have been just too much if they had killed Leia without meeting up with Luke again. So I'm glad they didn't go that route.
We don't know, right? Because maybe they thought they would meet in the last one. So that's the problem. We can't say. We can't
say, but it really looks good.
And something else that I noted, it's maybe a little off topic, is how good. I said Leia looks good, but everybody looks good. I saw this shot of Poe and I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? It's like, he looks unreal, looking the way he is, and also
his hair, my God.
And Kylo looks good, and that's one thing that I noticed, and I think that's what Rian Johnson is doing, is to make everybody look very good, including the male actors, and that's something that we don't often see in movies. One movie that did this very well was Peter Jackson with Lord of the Rings. That changed the way movies are made, and you had everybody, if you look at it, all the male leads, they look good, and I don't mean attractive, I mean, I don't know, aesthetically pleasing, but it's not something that's often done. Even, for example, Poe in The Force Awakens was a little scruffy looking, right?
Yeah, everybody looks great, even
now,
Luke.
Yeah, Luke looks gorgeous.
Luke looked like a crazy old man, you know, in the Force Awakens, and here he looks like, oh, I found my conditioner, and you know, his hair looks so good, everything looks great.
And yeah, but that's something I'm really looking forward to, because everyone looks so majestic, and so, you know, it is a galaxy far, far away. It is fantasy. It's
an epic story. Everybody has to look epic. I agree with you.
So I'm really happy to see it. It's great.
I have to say though, I have seen some criticism of Kylo Ren's hair online, and somebody really hilarious was saying on Tumblr that Kylo's hairstylist must have perished on Starkiller Base because the hair is just not as on point in what we've seen of The Last Jedi so far. I mean, it still looks great. I think it still looks great. It's Adam Driver. His hair is amazing regardless, but it really doesn't look like they tried as hard to make it breathtakingly gorgeous the way it was in The Force Awakens. It looks also like it's a little shorter, and personally I prefer it a little longer and with a bit more volume. But anyway, it still looks awesome and he still looks amazing, but he definitely doesn't look as carefully made up as he did before. Okay, so we're gonna actually pause our conversation here. We are going to be back with more discussion. We're gonna be focusing on analysis of the posters that have come out. We're also gonna be talking about the D23 Expo, so don't miss it. We wanna give a shout out to our friend and collaborator Zoe, who is manning our Twitter account, and she's doing such a fabulous job. If you're not following us on Twitter, do so, because you get the best updates through that account, and she's got a great sense of humor too. too. So thanks so much, Zoe. Remember, you can connect to us by emailing us at StarWarsConnection09@gmail.com. We love to hear your feedback. We love to read your emails. You can also contact us through our YouTube page by leaving a comment. You can also reach out on Tumblr, or you can reach out on Twitter. And thank you for listening. Until next time, may the Force be with you.